Right, it's still the 9th of December 2024, which is my 43rd fucking birthday. So there's been more loud bikes to erection. Busting this time, all your stuff's at a certain place, said. Car Rev says no sexually molested Sadie, Justin, when I've never had sex with her. Certainly getting a break in molested Sadie, said. Right, so the burning started again. And it's quite bad. I don't know why it occurs when Peter leaves his flat, but it has. Right, so sick cunt, this is turning nasty at the weekend, said by someone. Mashing you out, Justin, said. Getting injected, said. You're going to be shot dead, said. Not supposed to look at anyone in their 20s and 30s, said, and then bow whistles. I've had a 2.5 hours sleep, but I woke up quite a few times in that sleep. It has just kicked off fucking big time. So we got, Justin, you worked in a play school, which is not true. Bash you in weirdo, molested Sadie, raped Kimberly Cox, Justin. Dog bark, sick cunt robbery, Justin. Bonus a motorbike car res. Being stabbed with HIV injection, Justin. Stab your HIV. Pass you keep passing the play school, banged. Knife dead. Molested her. Is he said. Penis up 8 times loud bike. These threats are non-stop, and also from neighbour 2 of Eastville Yeovil, house number 2, sitting outside or doing something, and threats are occurring from there, and also threats in general from outside, breaking in, car revs, many things like this. You're looking at about, in the time period I was awake, at least 150 bangs, at least 100 threats, and at least 70-ish cars revving these threats. So it's been very bad, and in total there's been about 20 loud bikes to erections. It hasn't been too bad actually on that. I've known it a lot worse. It's on an irritating level, but it's not that bad compared to everything else. Breaking in Justin, too late, said. Sick cunt, everyone looks like Lisa, said. They're referring to Lisa Pike. Now, I'm not sure what age she is in that specific picture that I was showing, even when I was living up West Street, but she's somewhere between the age of 28 and 32. Initially I thought she could have been as age as 33, but the date of the picture, when I was told about it, when I mentioned this to someone's profile, mentioned it to someone, said she's got to be younger than that because the date that it was on there was put on there in I can't remember what it was, 2012 or something like that, 2011, and obviously she would have been younger than 33. So I've spoken to a few people about this picture. I've shown this picture even to the Dando family. So it goes back to the days of then, when Uncle Robert thought she was ugly looking. Chris sort of smiled and didn't really he said, have you had any community? It's actually similar to what my brother said actually, but my brother's sort of less I don't know how to put it really. Sadie said, well, she's alright then, isn't she, or something like that. Ian said, when I showed a picture of Lisa Pike, said not for me or something like that. I can't remember the wording he used. So I showed Karen. Karen just didn't seem very interested on the day I showed her that picture. When we come to closer family, sort of when I meant showing it to my uncle, my other uncle, he sort of went, ugh. And so because obviously she's not my type, and I pretty much agree with what certain people say. I've shown my two cousins on my side of the family surname, ones I've known for all my life, and both of them said they're not my type, but one of them actually might know this Lisa, because she works, or she used to work in a care home near Taunton on the road towards Minehead. And I'm not actually sure exactly where it is, but she now lives in Bridgewater. She's moved to Bridgewater, and she does go to clubs, and she does socialise bars, and she does have a boyfriend. Her music's pretty much different to what I listen to. She likes her celebrity, she likes her soaps, but she was into all that at school. I think her music style is a bit different. Obviously she was into all the sort of pop tunes of the singing sort of tracks of the 90s back in school days, and I think nowadays she's just into rock music, maybe a bit country and western. I'm not fully sure, because I hadn't seen her profile for a long time. Lisa actually looks very similar to my father as she looks today, because she's developed that old look. She's sort of a bit more sort of, I don't like insulting people, but basically similar looking to my father, but with a more sort of less, more grosser look. I don't, like I said, I'm not insulting, but I just can't find a explanation to. She does actually look older than my father. I'm not sure why that is. It's just the way that some people develop that old look at a younger age. But Lisa Pike does actually look very similar to my father. I've shown my mother the picture of Lisa, and obviously she didn't really say much really, to be honest, and there's sort of nor does my father sort of get involved in that. And I think that's everybody I've shown. I've shown the social workers and doctors' mind. I did show this picture to my doctor going back about a decade ago, maybe just a bit over a decade ago, and he says he doesn't like the way that you're describing her or insulting her, saying that's a rather rude thing to say. But what he did say is, he said, I will say that she's not everyone's type. She says, I agree with you with that, she's not everyone's type. And said, but then he sort of told me, well, you don't have to go with her, do you? I mean, you're sort of discussing what she's into and what you're into and all the rest of it. And he says you're totally different to each other. He said you might have liked being friends at school or whatever. And said, but you know, everyone's entitled to what, you know, and eventually you will possibly find someone. So this goes back before 2014, when I showed the doctor this specific picture of Lisa Pike. I showed it to the social worker as well, and the social worker says she's sort of trying to be I think she's doing it just to be in favour of me, maybe just to sort of be happy. But she did say that she said, yeah, but you don't have to. I mean, this is for someone from school days. You don't need to, you know, worry about that. You know, there's plenty of other people out there, and sort of said that sort of thing. So I might as well go into the interests of Lisa, because obviously I do like Lisa. I don't dislike her. I mean, I can't fancy her. We've not spoken for many years, but you know, and she's not the sort of person that I'd really get involved with for activities or anything like that, because she's different in my interests and all that. So she likes animals, which is the same as me, because I like animals, but I don't drastically like animals. I mean, I like animals, but I don't go to the extreme of the subject. However, I will stop and stroke a cat, or I will see if an animal comes to me when I go out on a walk, or if we pass a place like an animal place and it's a place where someone else wants to go, then obviously I would stop there and I'd enjoy the day. And I wouldn't mind having a little cat or whatever, or a hamster or something like that, but where I am at the moment, and sort of place where you live, you can't have animals. So yeah, I do like animals. That's good. She's into soaps, celebrities, and she's into specific films, but she's not really into the sort of films that I'm into, or she's she's into a lot of stuff on television. She used to have these magazines back in school days when I knew her at school, and she's mostly into like stuff like back in that time, like the Spice Girls, Wigfield that did Saturday Night, Aqua who did Barbie Doll and Dr. Jones, and she is sort of into these sorts of tracks, and she was great friends with Daniel Dennis, Louise Gunter and Kerry Moore back at Avalon School in those days. At times Emma Granshaw would have came across here and there, but she sort of kept to herself, or didn't sort of seem that interested in school. Obviously I've tried speaking to a couple of these people in recent times since not just at school as such, but a lot of them don't remember me. It seems to be mostly the ones that were sort of sexual looking that don't remember me, believe it or not. So obviously I don't cause any trouble, and I don't get involved in that. In actual fact, there's one person I knew called Catherine, I can't remember what her surname is now, and I knew her at that school, and I tried making contact with her on Facebook going back about 15 years ago, just under. And her boyfriend said it doesn't think that I ever went to that school, so not many people actually remember me. So I mentioned this Lisa, obviously, and all the rest of it. No, it's got to be no, it might have been after 2012 actually, I'm not sure. It was in the time period when that picture that I got off her Facebook was in the area when I was mentioning that, so I don't think it goes back before then. Anyway, the boyfriend messaged me, who's Catherine's boyfriend, and said basically that if I can stop burning from energy weapons, that is, because Peter's using something. Basically the boyfriend said, well, you don't know Catherine, and said if we did go to that school, I'll do this for a favour for you, and I will say that Lisa is absolutely ugly looking. I can't stand the look of her. So I said, so he said, I know where you're coming from, but the problem is you can't have Catherine or get to know Catherine because she doesn't remember you. So he basically said something like that. And he's a rough type person, he's not a calm person, he's sort of proper sort of, drug type person. So that was the end of that. Lisa's not into doing walks or going out to places like nature type places. She's more of a town person. She does like going up in the town. She's going to like bars and that, possibly the cinema. She does like sports, certain sports. I'm not quite sure what sport she's into, and she does like watching sports as well, but again, it's not my sort of thing. So I do like her, but only as a friend, not anything else. If I was to describe how Lisa Pike actually looks, I don't know if you've seen the programme You Been Framed. You had Jeremy Beadle that was doing it in the 90s, and you had Lisa something doing it. Well, you could say in some ways she resembles that appearance slightly, but slightly more negative looking. My brother used to have someone called Caroline. Although I didn't sort of fancy her sexually, she was good looking. So Lisa sort of had that sort of appearance as well. Obviously it's not the smooth skin type, obviously, but she had a good look to her face. With Lisa it's a little bit more negative. So like I said, I don't insult people, but I'm trying to explain the situation when it comes to describing this issue of the threats that I've had this evening regarding that specific person. As it stands today, in the last decade or so, Lisa's face has changed and looks very similar to my father, but looks a bit older than my father. But as I was saying, she's developed, I don't know why her face looks like that, but she can't help it, obviously people are born to look different ways, and unfortunately she just seems to be one that's sort of gone to look a bit different than most women. Then again, a lot of people do look negative these days. I put something on Facebook the other day, and I was explaining that if you go back in foreign countries, or if you look at people back in the 80s and the 90s, women used to hold their looks out until their 50s, but nowadays it's sort of, as soon as they reach the age of about 25ish, maybe a bit older, they go into this sort of negative attractional, they develop this obesity issue. With men, a lot of men hold out their looks up until about the age of 60, maybe 65 at a push. But if you go back to say the 1980s and the 1990s or further back in time, women sort of, they still had that sort of sexy look to quite an old age. I mean, you had someone that lived in Southbourne House called Julie Rayner, and she was about 50ish, and she was quite looking, you know. But these sorts of types you don't get anymore. It's sort of, it's a more negative attraction these days. So, and usually they develop it not in their 50s, but usually as soon as they reach their mid-20s. So I'm not quite sure why that is. But in foreign countries, some people still hold their looks out until they're about 60ish. Some older than that, before they start going into that sort of negative attraction. So, unfortunately with Lisa, it was around about the age of 19, I think it was, when I recall there being a sort of change in attraction or appearance. But obviously, like I said, I haven't seen her on a frequent basis to describe how she looks, and I don't like insulting people. I'm only just giving my an easy description basically of how this Lisa looks. So in that picture, she would have been younger than Gemma Ferguson is today, most likely. So when people say you've got to go with that type, they're not taking into account not everyone takes that type, and social workers and doctors and other people have actually agreed with me that not everyone takes to that type. Right, so I've had to come down because obviously you've got a penis up and loud bike issue. Obviously the burnings caused very serious problems, even though it's only happened for an hour. It stopped when Peter came back, so it's very suspicious. The screaming and saying breaking in by motorbike tying to erection and revved as well. Gunshot sound, breaking in, molested, F name, molested Sadie, deleted off, Yvonne said. I think that's what was said. Molested her, Will Avington said. This goes back to 1997 now. Some of the threats that are being mentioned this evening. Fuck all F said. Shoot you dead, simple. And Peter Bangs robbery breaking in with his knocking techniques. I don't know what's got on into him today, but he's been in the right mood since I've returned home about, I can't remember what it was in the 2 o'clock area, because obviously I got the early bus because I didn't want to have to put up with all the school children or the we call them school children, school youths and the college students, because they give me shit and they got families that are rough and they come from a rough background and they're causing trouble and saying that they're going to get this and that to kill me or whatever. So decided to get an early bus back. So okay, on other routes, but that specific route of Wells, Glastonbury Street, Somerton or Ilchester is a little bit of a problem. I was playing very deep and dark underground early 90s jungle last night because I was not in a very good mood about this bloody burning problem. So it's my birthday, so I decided to have a night of extra loud music. However, that's rare. All gone said, sitcom being busted, Peter Bangs busting and everything gone. Peter Bangs hit or bash you in, breaking in at 3:43am. 7:40am, smell of petrol, but there was some burning that was occurring somewhere between 4 and 6am, I can't remember what time it was. Shot dead just, I woke up because of it, shot dead just, total head case breaking in his place. Peter's breaking in his place, said dog barks, fuck your, actually I'm not going to say what it says because it's not appropriate really. Nothing left said, bow whistles. The burning occurs again as Peter leaves around about 10am is that sort of time, and then obviously it stops when he comes back in. I don't want to have to accuse him, but it seems to occur when he goes out. He doesn't stay in there when the burning occurs. Child abuser just said, shot dead, shouted outside, 22. Loud bites to erections and wanking and coming. Justin having a break and choked by catalyst. Yeah. Yeah. That's right, the nearest to me on the phone cries. Yeah, child molester said. Penis up motorbike, hang on. Right, the spit talking's got to go over me, there's no choice in the matter because people are on their smartphones, they have sexual calls, and God curses me for that person to be the most closest to me each and every time I go on the bus. There's never a time I go on the bus where it's anybody else, it's the nearest to me, all the fucking time. Right, bad breath, vaping at me by a fat lady, and penis up motorbike, and obviously this cell call. I've got to move. I've literally got to... Oh, fucking hell. Handicap fucking movement on the bus again. I tried changing seats on the bus, but unfortunately a sneeze has to occur. And then there's a Satan t-shirt. The thing is, I'm going to take a picture of an old light, which I took yesterday and got silhouette effect because there's patchy white cloud with blue skies mixed with grey cloud. And it's causing the picture to come out very terrible, basically, and you don't have the colour in the picture, so I've had to go redo it again today. There's Zimmer frame angled at me. It's not guaranteed I can take a picture of what I want to take a picture of again today because they've just caused the sun to come out again in that area. Obviously I've not reached that area, but you can see about 10 miles across. So let's get to the next setup, shall we? It's a sick red being smashed out, suggested by someone outside. Black sexual car, black and blue time, black and blue, Duffields, 4 texts, wet dribbling bow whistles to say molested Sadie. Grey sexual car timed, grey, red, and in general there's been about 300 cars, 80% at the moment. Right, so Somerset Ways partnership, timed, sick white, blue sexual timed. Upspan, bucket carried, black and blue, red, sick, knife shaped, text, yes, busting in, Justin said, and busting in coughed, and the weather's taken a turn, it's decided to turn sunny. Cloud sweeper van, busting in, Justin coughed, boy licking a lollipop, penis shoots up, so bike only and timed and wiggled at me. Right, so I've gone some form of cloud again, but what I want to mention is where I'm going, looking at the sky ahead, it's going to be worse than yesterday. It looks like, I can't fully see at the moment and guarantee the direction is correct, but it looks like they're opening it into like hazy sunshine in the area where I want to go, or where I want to take a picture of the old light. Right, bust in, slapping with shingle said, penis up motorbike, bike, boner, tingling bell end to bike timed. Black and blue, grey, sexual timed, sex with light on timed, robbery looking, and the FK 3-letter word, I can't say what that 3-letter word is, but it's FK, and then a 3-letter word van, yeah, shot said. Right, so there's a rent-a-kill van, but I failed to get the evidence because God doesn't want me to get a picture of the rent-a-kill van. God wants to disguise it. Scum fuck. Right, Willie itches, boner, it's a bike only. God doesn't want me to get evidence of this. God wants to tell me to shut my fucking face, get a taste of your own fucking medication. You ain't having a fucking say. Just shut your fucking face. We'll rip you to fucking pieces in disguise, you nasty bastard. Right, a Zimmer frame's just been twisted my way. It's worth mentioning that the bus is actually 45 minutes, but then again we stopped at every single bus stop apart from the 2 bus stops that are in Yeovil and and one of the no, I think it's been every bus stop. Yeah. Right, so wet boat whistles, HSS van, busting in, shot dead boat whistles, and by a different person, by the way, not the person I was doing it earlier. Right, so I arrived at my destination. They've opened the sky up to be blue skies, literally taken away the hazy sunshine as well, and you can see the tear in the sky. I've just filmed it. Right, so HSS hire, busting in, shot dead, boat whistled, black and blue and central time, Somerset Ways partnership time, so they're telling me They know in advance, Somerset Waste Partnership, that you're not getting your fucking pictures. Right, so I'm being gassed up by Catalyst trying to fucking eat. I'm a Virgo, I'm a sicko, Christ. You buckled bastard. Spit talking. Hits my hand and eye and face. And then in my hair for second person. I can't do nothing. We've got a sexy son, Christ. You buckled bastard. And I'm being choked out by a Catalyst, not just eating, but in general. The government are going fucking psycho on me. So we've got black and blue sick, sexual, red sexual, white sexual, black and blue, red sexual. But before that, penis shoots up a bike timed and Cumby caravan and smashed drains over. For fuck's sake, Downing Street. They're making it clear with a Somerset Waste Partnership that I'm not getting my fucking pictures today. That's another fucking one, Downing Street, you sexual slaughter fucking tearaway. So obviously my Willie's shooting up Downing Street, so we need the bikes. Right, another Cumby car, is it? No, water van. I mean, I got told off for being around trying to take this picture going back on that rainy day. And I couldn't do it on that rainy day, so I'm trying again today. But the problem is, the government have altered the weather. They need their sexual weather, they need their sun. They're crooked, they're buckled, they're fucking hell-bent. They won't let me do it. They won't. We've already got silhouette effect, there's nothing I can do about that. They won't fucking stop it. I'm just going to try and angle the camera to try and get the best picture I fucking can. They got me tied by the fucking feet. They want their fucking kids on the beach with no clothes on. That's what the government want. They won't let you take pictures of normal things. They got to have their fucking sunshine. Or their hazy sunshine or blue open skies, which fucks up pictures. Wicks and Sons van, and obviously chuck the camera on the floor. They can't fucking take a picture. It doesn't want to get the evidence. There is no evidence. There is no picture, Christ. Fucking sneaky little fucking tear apart. You stam nasty bastard. There's a new card, vehicle. It says sexual farmer. So like a, fielder. Someone that works on a field, a farmer. So I've not seen that before. I've got to mention it because that's what it says. Position the blue sky so I can't get a picture at all. I can only take it from that angle. I'll be trespassing on the other side to get past to get that picture. It's not guaranteed. I'm still about 50 plus foot away, 70 foot away. It just doesn't look promising. The government just won't fucking stop handicapping the fucking weather patterns, cause this stupid weather to fuck up every fucking picture I take. They don't like it. It's got to be space age. It's got to be naked children with no clothes on the beach with showing their willy and fanny. That's the only pictures they want you to take. The government cheering about it. They're laughing armchair van. They're stupid. Well, I can't fucking get the pictures while they're fucking about like this. They're doing it every fucking picture, every fucking day. And I got the line in the sky. This is a problem, silhouette effect. I just got to put up with it and just hope for the best. With silhouette effect, I can get the picture better than I did last time. Because the government's fucked up my plans. Not the government, it's the creator God that's a slum. One sneaky little cold bastard. Right, Crow's saying stank, I can't say. And Crow's saying shag, whatever. So there we are, got a nice blue sky in the background, Christ. The blue sky day, you spastic Christ. Right, reach a destination, I can't do it. The government has stopped me. So this means what I'm going to have to do now is come back later on. And I'm going to have to get the bus with all the youths and teenagers on it. Quite simply, the bastards have stopped me. That's the government for you, I'm fucking scum bastard. And if there's any problems, it will go into criminal damage and it will go into graffiti Downing Street. Because enough's a fucking enough of it. It's the stone cold little bastards in 10 Downing Street have timed the cloud sweeper van again. And quite simply, I've got to go down a private track to take the picture. Because quite simply, the government has stopped me getting in the other direction. So if I get in trouble, there'll be criminal damage and there'll be some fucking graffiti if I do get in trouble. But I'm going for it because I'm getting fucked off with it Downing Street. This is all the fucking time, every time now Downing Street, every fucking day. For the last 3 years, it's been the same fucking problem Downing Street. And I'm getting a bit fucked off with it. I can't get a picture because it's covered by the van, so I've got to take it from the other angle. I've got to do it with blue sky and sexy weather Downing Street. Sexual day Downing Street. Sex in the sun, you fucking buckled bastards.
You fucking hell-bent bastards, Downing Street. You buckled back bastards, you bastards. Because the previous picture didn't come out because you were causing the same weather as fucking today, Downing Street. Or the creator God, you malice bastard. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to give up and never take that picture because I'm not going to do it again. The government don't want it. I won't take it. It's as simple as that. So there we are, a catalytic converter. You don't have a say. It's sexy, it's sunny, you can't do nothing. It's a very sexy day. Very fucking sexy, Christ, you bastard. There's a picture where I zoomed in on the light, the actual main part of the light itself, but the problem is the government need their sexual weather, so the actual full picture I can't get because the government need blue skies mixed with grey and white, causing silhouette effect. You need just one plain layer of white cloud or grey cloud, not this stupid fucking bright weather or sunshine. Somerset Waste Partnership, and now they want to make the suggestion of HIV with a GTC van. Stupid Savan said, well, that's not my name, but obviously they need to put these types of people in my direction because they need me hit off. They're corrupt, they're going crazy, the government, all the creator God's absolutely fucking buckled. Someone said they'd got a cold. Yeah. Open, yeah. That's right, yeah. That's why I've opened them. I had to move on the bus because there's flu and I can't sit properly on the bus because of... I've got to do this with everybody about. There's no bow whistles, attacks, persistent bow whistles. Flu. Bike time to a stretch. Bisexual time and more bike issues. Never mind, don't. That's right, Downing Street. I might have to get off the bus because I need to make room for people. And I'll go on the bus with these college students and all the trouble later. Yeah. Actually, there's one of them. Actually, one of the college students is actually on the bus now. And there's one that's. And there's not much you can do about it. Yeah, can't. Government are fucking buckled. Oh, there's a fart. I can tell you now, I'm not in the mood for this. Not after today of making it sunny, or trying to make it sunny, or trying to take a picture when it predicted cloud, because I've already wasted my time today, and now I've got to put up with this as well, so I'm not in a happy mood. And the worse it gets, the more unhappy I'll get, and I can tell you I'll get unhappy when I leave the bus. Right, so Jesus wants me off the bus. Jesus wants me to go on the fucking bus where all the trouble is later on. So, if the bastard starts this, I go to smash fucking windows and everything else, I'll show you what a violent bastard I can be. Christ, you fucking nasty bastard, fucking tearaway. Sexual slaughter, fucking tearaway. Grey timed, black, white, red, dumper truck. Ambulance siren to say dead. And that's to say that one word only, and then lights. Flashing on there, and there's an ambulance before that as well. It's only flu, it doesn't matter, it gets sneezed over, right, black and fucking blue, right, Christ, that's right, you fucking absolute nasty fucking tearaway, you absolute nasty bastard. So black and blue, red, black, Well, I didn't anticipate on getting off the bus, but I got no choice because people got flu. So, I've got to wait for the next bus, which is, will be one with all the college students and the school use on there, so I'm looking forward to that. Christ, I could tell you what, I could rip your fucking head off, Christ, and I could fucking smash all your fucking bones in your body, and I could fucking set you alight, Christ, you absolute nasty bastard. Alright, nothing I can do about it, is there? Christ, I'm sneezed at, coughed at. So funny, innit, Christ? Great sexual, you fucking buckled, fucking twisted cunt. You're fucking buckled, Christ, you fucking outright nasty bastard. Well, back those fucking catalysts. Oh, catalyst, Christ. Catalyst, gas, Christ, gas. You screwed up bastard, you buckled cunt. Right, the Abri van. Just before HV services van to apply HIV. I can't do nothing. I'm stuck in a shop, busy. I've had to buy some more apple cider vinegar because obviously the government are trying to give me flu and they want to do it in the Christmas time period where they know they can hit me off and they can smash me to pieces, where they can share about it and go, you're going to be sexually abused as a child in your next life. There's nothing you can do about it. You just got to put up with it. The creator's laughing, seagulls going, nothing you can do about it. The creator's fallen. Right, so I changed direction to go to the loo. Now I'm down the designated fucking track, so there should be no vehicles last down there. Last time I was down there, there's about 20 vehicles down there, all set up. They're doing it again. Every time I come down a track, they do it. They're packing and controlling everyone's movement to cause as much fucking havoc, as much shit stirring, to cause much mayhem and much mess as they can fucking put into my direction. So it's not. This is that track I was mentioning the other day when I went down there. You shouldn't get more than one car. Sometimes no more than a car a day, if not a car a day. And then they did that 20 the other week, and they're just continuing it. Right, anyway, while I'm being fucking hammered with fucking action to the fucking hill, because the government need to do this, because the government has screwed up, they're buckled bastards. Oh, and hang on. Right, so basically, I went to go to the toilet in Somerton, because I'm at Somerton now. I had to get off the bus because of flu. They packed the bus to the hill, doing it deliberately, trying to cause as much fucking havoc, and they're still doing it. I mentioned those 35 days. I'm not sure how many days it is now. It's got to be about 40 where they've done it, apart from that one Saturday about 3 weeks ago. Actually, it might be more than 40 now, I'm not sure. Every day's the same now. There's a bit of ease on one day, which is a couple of days ago. Now there's a fucking car coming this way now. They're trying to pack as much fucking stack, as much fucking traffic. This is a fucking track, for fuck's sake. They're doing it on purpose. Yeah, the government are doing it on purpose to be nasty, controlling everyone's movement around me, to cause as much fucking havoc as they can fucking slam at me, to make it as busy as hell, to cause as much fucking shit stirring as they can fucking slam at me. Nasty bastards. Every designated track, every designated area I go anymore, those last 40 days, they're just causing this on every fucking track. Apart from when I went to Barrack. But then again, there's record-breaking fucking setups on the Dead End Road. And every time I go on that road, can be no cars for 45 minutes or an hour. I go on that road and all the cars are suddenly occurring, and yet not a single car in that time. I'm going to have to piss here because I couldn't get into the toilets because the government causing it to be so busy. Hang on a minute. Yes, I'm pissing in there like a hedge. There's no choice in the fucking matter because the government wouldn't let me get in the toilet. So firstly I was sneezed at 4 times. That's in the total of walking there, not all in one go. 3 coughs at me. This is taken into account, this is only about a 2-3 minute walk. Take the back way to go to the toilets on that little road. Firstly there's a car trying to smash me up. Then I'm choked by a catalyst by 2 reversing cars. When I get to the toilets, there's 6 people in the queue outside. So obviously I don't know how many people were actually in the loo, but there's a queue of 6 and there's only a urinal, 2 urinal things, and I think it's 2, and 1 cubicle. So obviously they stopped me getting in there because they needed to cause, because they stopped me going to the toilet, stopped me doing things. They cause as much trouble as they can cause, but it's all negative. It's either to commit as much fucking trouble in my direction as they can by stacking and packing as many people as they possibly can. They do it to stop me going to the toilet. They can time people on this path. Luckily they didn't today, but wherever I go, especially when it's barrack or whatever, they make sure that they stop me going to the toilet. They close toilets, and when I do go to the toilet, and many times in the past, where the government have to cause my movement or structure my movement, or control everyone's movement around me, I've been caught many times going to the loo. Especially when you can't hold it in when you need a shit. They love to get me caught on then. I was about to write some graffiti earlier on because of the sunshine. I couldn't do it because what happened was as I was about to do it, they timed a police car my way. But they did this the other day. I'm trying to think what it was now, but they did it in a spiteful way. That's right, I timed to spit after being choked out by a catalyst, and then they timed a police car angled at me, and then Seagull goes ha ha ha. And obviously another thing that happened is they timed a lookalike to someone who sexually abused me as a child, timed to my willy shooting up. Obviously the loud bikes counted for regardless of whatever setups they caused. There was never an erection, never. You can't wank a cum, never an erection. There's a loud bike fixed to my willy like a pulley. But there's not much I can do about it. The government want me ripped to fucking pieces and destroyed. You're living up to your fucking name just in time. I'm going to tell you to pieces. And if it's not the government that's doing it, it's created God. It can only be 1 or 2 organisations. So we have reached the fucking road, and we need a catalyst time because they have to do this because the government need to stack as much trouble and shit stirring as they can possibly fucking manage. They've got everyone's movement controlled around me. They're causing everybody to come out of the house as a pass, every fucking pathway, every roadway. They got to do this now. They got to do it as part of the government's religion. They want me ripped to fucking pieces. They want to shit stir, and they want to fucking stir as much fucking trouble and mayhem as they can get away with. And they're going to get away with it. They got away with timing this yesterday, all in order. So they timed a lookalike someone who sexually abused me as a child, timed to my willy shooting up, and then a baby bounced about in a sling, Spill Your Guts t-shirt, cheering van. They didn't have the air van though, it was just a cheering van, but that's bad enough. And then after that they timed up the age van, followed by a Granny's For You van. After that I'm trying to think what was after that. No Sex Services t-shirt, the Smash You to Pieces rubble flatbed lorry. I managed to photograph this, by the way, yesterday on my birthday, 9th of December. And it's my 43rd birthday, so I'm getting older, and they're still fucking about, knowing that I haven't had no sex in my whole life and wanting to tell me that they're ripping me to pieces and I have to go with an old granny. They don't give a fuck, they just want me fucking destroyed. It's part of their fucking satanic religion. Although I don't like the term satanic because the type of things they do is not actually satanic as such, it's just absolutely fucking vicious and violent. And it's part of what they want to do because they're probably not human bred people, they're probably alien type people that want to rip people to fucking pieces like human beings. But if you look at the works of God's creation, where animals rip each other to fucking pieces, bite their fucking heads off and paralyse them with venom or cause excruciating pain, then it just shows that they're copying what the creator God's fucking animals do. Right, so yeah, so it's Catalyst that's tied out the farm gate because they have to do this now. They got to do it. They want me destroyed. This is why I'm being photographed many times a day and being mistaken as Savannah mine, got in all this trouble because they're putting as many people as they can in my direction to cause shit. I can't stop it. The force is too fucking hard against me. I was talking about this to the doctor before I moved to actually it's just over 10 years ago I mentioned it. Sentence were increasing, yes, but they're 4 times heavier now since the lockdown. It's a lot different to what it was then, and even back then, you know, it was manageable. And I was sort of saying that everyone's movement is starting to be controlled around me, like they're trying to cause everyone to be in my direction. And basically the doctor, although he has his own theories on what's causing it, he did actually agree with me, saying it does seem rather strange that it's always busy around you and what's been reported and all the rest of it. And they said, the doctor says yes, you know, he agrees, but he said it's probably just coincidence. But he did agree and said yes, it is busy around you, and it is unusually busy around you, is what he said, yeah. So he did agree, but he didn't go much into any details apart from that. I can't go up there. I'm like fucking back to the road. Oh yeah, and now the car's coming down this way from that house. So I can't go up there because they've got the vehicles packed in the field, and that car's coming my way. I've got no choice. The government want to cause as much fucking putrid action as they can fucking slam, but I've got to go this way because you hear it come now. There's nothing I can do about it. There we are. Just make it out because I'm a little way from the actual road, not far, but so yeah, they're trying to make it as busy as they possibly can to shitstir. The government are not going to stop it. They're going to keep on doing it for the rest of my life. They want me destroyed. They want my family hit off. They were taking the piss trying to say your family are all dead and laughing about it, going back. But then again, if you go back to the coronavirus just after the lockdown, when all this setup was getting heavier, soon as there was a couple of old people talking about, these are really old people, about 70 or 80, talking about people dying of coronavirus. There was a cheering van, a van and a funeral car at the same time. So they obviously find it funny that people are dying when they set this up. So I can't get down there, there's too many people now. They're fucking packing. They did this last time I was there. All other times that I've come here in the past, and this time in the evening, there's literally been quiet. Every time I come here, ever since I first ever came down here. I'm going to have to go back the other way, there's no choice in the matter. I'm going to have to face the vehicles and be choked with a catalyst. Nothing I can do about it. They're fucking about. They're controlling my movement, controlling everybody else's movement around me. They're using the media and music industry to control people to be around me all the time. But why they're doing that, they're not just trying to cause people to be in my direction, but they're causing everyone to sneeze and cough in my face. People to photograph me, to mistake me as Savan and Liam, to tell me I'm going to be shot dead. And then when threats are clear like that, the government make a suggestion that they're cheering me, a cheering van or a laughing armchair. They haven't timed that laughing armchair lately, and they haven't timed the T-shirt that says there's a card that says "Time to get busy," followed by a murder jumper usually, or a manslaughter jumper. Ever since they started increasing this action as making it whacking out as heavy as possible around me, they stopped timing those two specific things coming together at the moment. But what I have been timing, again, is the age is just a number. So what happens is they time a lookalike to someone who sexually abused me as a child trying to get in an erection. And then after that, you'll get a Make Love Not War t-shirt. Age is just a number, it's love that counts. Over 50 is too old, under 50 is fine. And these t-shirts are coming commercial at the moment. And they're all from the same company by the looks of the t-shirts. So when I am 50 in 5 years time or whatever, and everybody's wearing these t-shirts, the government fucked my life up to make sure that I don't get anyone. They fucked about with the age of consent in 2003 when I knew Susan. She turned against me because of it. So she was 16 coming out 17. I was in my early 20s, and she started chatting to me as if she sort of likes me to some way. The government changed the age of sexual consent from 16 to 18 for 1 year before dropping it back down to 16. And in that year, Susan turned against me because her age, because of that, what the government done. And obviously it turned her against me. And then by the time when the government changed the age back to 16, she found someone else and got in a relationship with that person. And she was being a bit funny about age gaps or whatever. Then she went, obviously then she became a single mother, and then she went with someone slightly older than me for a short period of time, and obviously this is the sort of time period she turned against me. Everyone went to a Palace nightclub and whatever else. Back in, I can't remember what year it was, 2010ish, maybe the year before, year after that, I think it might have been the year before, not sure. I changed change my coat, and the reason I did this is because I had to wash the other one, but I also had a knife in my pocket because I was cutting. Well, it could be the knife that I was using for cutting cheese, honey, or whatever, or it could have been the one I was cutting other bits and pieces with. I can't remember what it would have been now, but I was cutting something. But I left it in my pocket accidentally, and it was genuinely accidentally. And I had my crappy coat on to go uptown. I think it's Valentine's Day, I'm not sure. Because I didn't know what day Valentine's Day was back then. It was the 14th or 15th, I didn't really take much notice. Well, some people at the church started a row with me. So I put the saying that I'm Jungle Justin and a sick bastard, and claiming that I molested Stephanie. This is before the Sadie threat, by the way, when I never had sex with her. And getting threatened, getting nasty, these are churchgoers. So I ended up punching the fucking window through in the church. And then obviously I got a bit nasty, because obviously I said, if you do fucking get out of my way, I'll fucking put this in you. So I said, and I held the knife up. So it was only like a little knife, because obviously I didn't actually realise I had it in my pocket. Because the time I did this, I actually found out that I had it in my pocket, and that's when I started to, obviously I wouldn't have used it, but, and obviously they dragged me and say, you're just a sick cunt. We know what we're going to do, we're going to get you arrested. We want you in jail. You had Stephanie, you fucked Stephanie, so you're having your fucking life to put in jail, you sick cunt. And it turns out true. The police officer arrested me going to Bridgewater, and obviously they do arrest me, and they give me a suspended sentence or something like that, I can't remember what it was, and some fine or something for having that knife back in that time period. And what happens since that time? They step up all the setups. And also, when I went into the police station at that time, seagulls were telling me to fuck people that raped me as a child, saying, ha ha ha, there's no one left, while I was in the police station in police custody. And there was someone else in one of the other cells who knew what my name was, and he was making threats as well. Obviously the police must have heard it. I don't know if they got audio equipment in those cells, but they obviously were seeing that person on a regular basis and trying to make sure that person is okay. It definitely sounded like threats aimed at me. Obviously I can't remember if it's before that time. It's also in the time period just as people started to leave me alone as well. And when people found out that the Stephanie business was made up and it moved on to Sadie. But come 2011 all of it died out completely. You had the occasional threat here and there, but it wasn't that frequent. And then obviously the Sadie threat sort of died out. The Ian threat died out. And then you had the Sally Ann threat coming, saying he's chasing Sally Ann Adicott. I wasn't actually chasing Sally Ann Adicott, but I thought it was Sally Mansfield, you see. So I knew her first name was Sally. So I tried to make sort of communications and try and, if she remembers me from the days when Jane and her were associated with the Dando family. But obviously she ran on a couple of occasions on the bus, and she just started walking on the bus after getting off the bus and sort of looking at me as if she's confused or puzzled. I messaged on Facebook, I had a phone call, and then obviously she said if there's any issues or saying police otherwise. So I just left it at that, and that was the end of that, because I didn't want to cause any trouble. And because obviously I moved to Burnham in that time period, I didn't really go on the bus that much. And then obviously it's too late to go with that person, even if she did remember me, because she's now a single mother, and she's going into negative attraction as well, because most people go into negative attraction, as I was saying the other day, when they reach the age of about 28. And obviously I don't want to be with someone who's had a lot of sex with other men, and someone that's very used and a stale piece of shit, basically. I'm not saying this to say that one person, I mean in general other people, all people. So I'm not very happy about it. Sexuality, I'm being told I've got to go with people twice the age of people that sexually abused me as a child at the age they would have been at the time it happened. I've actually had people 10 years older than people who sexually abused me as a child that look identical to them at the age they would have been at the time it occurred. And these people that are 10 years older than that, even they, as female attraction, have told me I'm a sick bastard for looking at them and telling me I should be with negative attraction. And that's a person that looks like someone who sexually abused me as a child, except a bit older, 10 years older. And this occurred a couple of years ago, maybe a bit more than a couple of years ago now. And the other thing is, on dating, I've been told not to look at anyone, and this is on a more recent dating. This is one of these people that's extremely fussy about age. So, like, you know, no more than 2 years difference in age or you're a sick cunt sort of thing. Because obviously some people are like that, and I came across the wrong person. And she said, I can't remember what age she was, I think she said that I'm 34 or something like that, and you shouldn't be reading any book, anything that's I've got on my fucking profile, and you shouldn't have any communication with me or anything at all, because there's more than 2 or 3 years difference in age. And she got nasty about it and said, if you want to fucking start, I'll get my ex-boyfriend to smash you to fucking pieces across the fucking road and beat you to death with a fucking knife. Obviously this is on dating. I've moaned about specific stuff even on Zeus and other dating sites, and in the past they've just seen me as being a problem and blocked me or closed my account, even on payments. It's cost me £10,000 in total. Take into account I had better benefits back then. I had a bit of money in the bank, nowhere near as much as that, but I had a bit more. I had a bit of cash in the bank about 2 months ago. But obviously with the problems and all the expenses and whatever else and other payments I've had to pay, believe it or not, I'm the lowest in the bank I've ever been. Not now, because I've had benefits going, but if you go back just 2 weeks ago, I had under £100 in the bank account in total for everything. Obviously I've got enough to pay bills, because obviously I've had more going, but that's one of the lowest times I've ever been. And obviously, you know, I can't understand why. I'm being unfortunate, you know, but I've had to pay for things, you know, I've had to buy things, and a lot of it's been closed at the moment, essentials. It's very rare I buy luxuries. If I buy a luxury, it's something that's haunted, or most other things are essentials. I mean, phone chargers are essentials, phones are essential, but again, I've got to think about getting a smartphone, because I'm telling people I can get one, I never do. Again, the cost of those, you've got to sort of, I mean, because music is a part of my history in life, you've got to look at music as being more a priority rather than a luxury, because music is something that I like. It's something that keeps you comfort, you know. It's sort of, that's assuming you can get the music each time I'm into. The problem is the government have done away with all my music, and the DJs and producers or whatever, and the junglists or whatever on Facebook or other places did mention this about 10 plus years ago, saying it's the government's fault that they can't get the music reissued, and they're saying the original DATs and the recordings, that they're supposed to be kept safe, and they haven't. No one's kept them safe. So all the recordings, if I want my music, they got to take it off of a record to reissue it, and that's what Night Force Records have been doing. If you go to Night Force Records, they've got a description saying that they've had to take Tango and Fallout, the Violator, from a record. They said it's like a very good condition record that they've taken it from, to reissue it, to press it, to re-release it. They've had to do the same with Nutty 1, Underwater Fireworks and Liquid Affray, which is known as Nutty 1 off the Nut EP. And if you listen to their recording, because they're taking it from a record, halfway through the track it goes muffled, and quite literally on the Underwater Fireworks track it's muffled. It sounds really muffled near enough from halfway to the end, and then obviously on Liquid Affray it sounds a bit better, but you can still hear that sort of where there's been dust on the record and it's sort of phased out, you know. And then obviously they've done a bit better on the track from the Man Like Pennywise, Suspension of Disbelief and Mystery, because they've taken that from a mint condition record, and they've obviously played it a few times, because there's no problems basically on that, apart from a couple of bulges, click bulges or whatever you want to call it in the record, bumps, sorry, I use the proper name, you know, bumps in the record. Apart from that, that's like they've actually done a good job on that one, taking it from a record. But all in all, most of these records are gone, you know. They can't even reissue you know, because they're restricted, you see. I had to blow my nose and I had to change the battery because obviously it's not cold. It's I'd probably say it's about 10 to 13 degrees out here. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I mean, I can walk about. I got a t-shirt on. Yesterday I had to wear a jumper because it was absolutely bitter cold. But I can actually walk about with the wind and a t-shirt today. But obviously I have been in warmer temperatures lately because it has been warmer over a period of time. But when you get that cold weather, it bites, you know, it's sort of cold bites through you. What I will say is I'm not a very happy person. It's because the government doing away with all the interests I'm into. So I'm into old lighting and old things like that. We replaced all the LED, all lighting is all LED. And did you know that when LED lighting was introduced to be modernised across the world, it is actually in the UK where they started all this trouble. But it gets even better, because where I used to live in Bridgewater is where they installed the very first LED street light in the whole world before they started putting all new street lights up everywhere, which is sneaky. And now obviously they're doing the same in America and doing the same in other countries, but it all came off from this country. However, these LEDs are nothing new because they had them in the 60s and 70s. So they've been around for some time, but they haven't used them as like professional lighting that they do now. And they're doing it because people are photographing the old lights and they don't like it, the government don't like it. So this is why they're causing it to be sunny every day. But anyway, when it comes to old lighting or anything like that, the government have done away with that interest. People are not allowed to like that interest anymore. It's got to be modern, it's got to be sexual and stuff like that. So that's one interest that they've taken away from me. They've taken away my music because I'm into all the old school jungle tracks. And where I've had break-ins in the past, or where my stuff's been stored, I've had break-ins. I've lost all my jungle tracks, so I haven't got that anymore. So this is why I've gone into this dark ambient music. This is on Cryo Chamber Records, most of it. And even Cryo Chamber Records have had to change their style because they're not allowed to produce the music that they've done up until the year 2022. After 2022, they've had restrictions come in due to music laws, and they've got to change it slightly to the way that they were making it. So all their modern releases are going to be no good, to what I've heard, that is. The next thing, that's something else I'll mention. It's happened a few times today. There's been police sirens saying you're being murdered or you're a pedo, you raped Sadie or whatever, but it's being done in that way rather than like a persistent sound that's happening now. Though it can come out in that way when it's going through houses or whatever, or it can be sort of suggested to apply that. Anyway, let's just go on to the next fucking subject, shall we? So that's two subjects the government are taking away from me, which is my music, and they've taken away what else? Taken away my music, the interest of old lighting, the old interest of old things in general. Everything's modernised. I mean, they stopped making proper paraffin lanterns. So when people are selling them in camping places or stuff like that or online, it's all old stock. They stopped making it. And another thing is, I like to use CDs, not so much DVDs, because DVDs mess up, but a CD actually messing up, a recorded CD and messing up in my lifetime, you're looking at no more than 2 or 3 maximum. And when the recording quality was low, that was on the Woolworths discs that my brother used to record on, where he lost a lot of family stuff on them. And there was a specific Memorex batch from Morrison's in the 2005 area that I purchased, which were bad as well. Take that away, I've never had any problems with any CD that I've recorded in the past, and they've always been reliable. When it comes to USB sticks, I've had many USB sticks fuck up. Micro SD cards or SD cards, you're looking at about 100, and I'm not making that up. But then again, with the dole money that I used to get, I was able to afford this, or whatever. Just stepped in shit as usual. When it comes to hard drives, I have only ever had 2 hard drives pack up, mind. That's quite shocking, but I don't usually use hard drives that often or put stuff to hard drives. But all in all, most people have a lot of problems with hard drives, but I've actually only had 2 hard drives fuck up. It's good for temporary storing music on there, because it's probably your safest way of storing music, where you hold the depth range in the bass line of music tracks. with a USB stick, if you save music on a USB stick, you lose that depth, that bass. It's sort of the quality of it is the surround. It's like got a surround quality to it when you put it on a hard drive. Where if you put it on a USB stick, it's more of an enclosed bass, where it's lost that bass line, that surround bass, and it's not as quality. You sometimes lose a bit of high range though when it comes to saving stuff on hard drives, but you can always make adjustments slightly on Audacity. You can't do much though, so the track's a bit bugger. But you got a good 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years in fact, on some hard drives if they're in really good condition, before a music track will actually degrade. But you got to take into account when you start changing from one media to another. So once you've got transfer one music track from one hard drive to another hard drive, if you do that more than about 6 times, then the track becomes very weak quality and it sounds crap. So when you do save music, the best way you can do it needs to be on a disc. My preference in discs are either an ordinary music CD blank, a blank CD, a proper blank CD, or an M disc, because an M disc can be quite reliable as well. I'm not happy with the way that they say it's made out of rock layer, because obviously makes a suggestion that cracks could occur from how they make them, but obviously they know what they're doing when they make these discs, and apparently they're supposed to last for 1,000 years. I don't believe that, because I've only ever had one M disc issue, and that's where the adhesive layer wasn't sticking to the plastic properly and it came apart, where it wasn't glued down properly. Take that away, I've never had any problems with any other M disc, and all the M discs are recorded, the music is certainly safe and there's no errors. So discs are my favourite out of that. Obviously for stuff like I wouldn't say things with because pictures don't have a resolution change as such when you move it from one media to another. Pictures and stuff like that can be pretty much put on a USB stick or a hard drive, and they still remain in good condition, quality and whatever, so there's no problems there. But there is I do like to keep everything on disc rather than on as a preference, but the problem is the government's stopping all discs. In actual fact, you can't get laptops or PCs with disc drives in it anymore, and apparently all the modern DVD players or the TVs that you buy, they don't have a disc drive. But the problem is all electronics can break down, and when I stored stuff online, I had my Deep Depression life story pack on there, which has evidence of what I was doing on days where I'm accused of raping Stephanie and Sadie and whatever. Obviously there's chunks that have gone missing on days where I've seen Stephanie, where computers are broke or hard drives are broken, where they stepped up all this criminal action against me in the past. But what I have discovered is that there's still a proportion of evidence to confirm my story is true. Well, I decided to save 50 gigabytes of information, which goes back to when I first started doing the Deep Depression stuff, which is in 2006. Most of it's stories, pictures of problems when I go out, or the rare video or audio voice sounds of animals talking in a malicious way, or the recordings of threats mostly from the Palace nightclub before I moved to Burnham and Yeovil. And there's a few threats in Yeovil because it started to become a bit nasty there. Obviously there's been threats that have been nasty, but not actually outside my place as such. It's been more sort of, that was mostly in Bridgewater and Yeovil, where I am now. Anyway, I went to make my payments, so I did like a subscription for a month, pay so much a month. I think it's, I might have done it on a yearly basis, I can't remember. But anyway, I made the payments, and I had the CIA saying that they're not happy with the stuff that I put on my online storage, and guess what they did? With no warning at all, they shut my account down, gave me that message, and I went to the bank and I found out that they're still taking payments off me, so I had to cancel all the payments. I managed, on that specific payment, I managed to get it stopped, but they shut down my account because of my life story problems that I mentioned, like stories, photographic evidence, audio recordings, because the CIA wasn't happy about it. So that's how reliable online storage is. I think everybody should be entitled to be able to have a CD. or an M-disc, or some form of reliability where they can store their music for a long time on a disc. They should keep USB sticks in circulation, and they should also keep external hard drives in circulation. Then people can have a choice of what ones they prefer. Obviously, if they've got a lot of data, hard drives are perfect. Obviously, audio or whatever, or videos, you're going to lose the sound quality, yes. But you can obviously, if it's something very important that you want to keep special, then obviously you can burn it to a disk. So you've got that option as an alternative. Or a USB stick, because USB sticks, well, although I've had a lot mess up, there are ones that have stood the test of time, if you get what I'm saying, as long as they're used lightly or whatever. So this is the problem. They're doing away with the discs or disk drives in laptops or computers or whatever, but it gets even better, because apparently there's discussion on the internet, and people have actually said this, I've heard it in conversations in town by intelligent people, to say that they're going to start doing away with external hard drives, USB sticks and all the rest of it. So it means that everything's going to have to be put online, so all your data or whatever will have to be put on online storage. Well, the problem with online storage is what I just told you, the story I had, is they can wipe off all your stuff and close your account with no warning. And if I didn't have that backed up anywhere else, all my data that was on there I would have lost, because the CIA are not happy about the information that's on there, which and I mean, it's only evidence of my problems when I go out, and photographs of problems, but the CIA don't like it, so they closed my account, and that was in 2022, because I went to Barrack to do a documentary. So this information, what I'm mentioning now, will be on my old YouTube account, the one I was using in 2022, because they stopped me accessing that account, so I can't actually re-sign into that account, because what's happened is, I was complaining about the sunny days circling me and mentioning this sexy lady purse painting that looks similar to Britney Spears, just to cut a long story short. It's similar. It's definitely the same skin type she had in her early 20s. And she's cursing this person with the sun. I was making sunny day videos to confirm that I'm being circled with the sunshine and it's cloudy everywhere else, or rainy everywhere else. And I was photographing like newspapers to confirm the day, receipts, bus tickets, or that I found on the floor, bus tickets I had to pay for when I lost my bus pass and all that sort of stuff, because I lost it a couple of times. And when I put this on the internet, they didn't like it at all, so what they did is they banned my account because they weren't happy with a sunny day. And I thought to myself, I got a right to put that on there, because obviously it's happening, they are cursing me with the sunshine, it's sunny, deliberately done where I am, and they didn't like it at all, so they stopped my account. So they didn't close it down, they just put it on hold, and from that time onwards I can't sign into it, I still can't sign into it now. So I still continued it, I just put it on a new account, and obviously I've not had no trouble since that time, and I've just been putting the evidence on there of being cursed with sexy sunshine, but being violated with this sex curse painting of this sexy lady in her early 20s that's cursing me with sunshine, holding her hand down as the sunshine on top of the person that looks like myself walking down a track. So what the government have done, or what happened, is initially there's a lady aged about 40, or a girl aged about 14, obviously a negative looking type, sort of unhygienic looking type, but had similar appearance to Lauren that worked in Tesco's, who looks similar to that curse painting I just mentioned, but more towards Lauren, but of a negative type. So not quite, but the hint was there, and she was wearing a no sex t-shirt. And then obviously the government started getting nasty when I did these videos, so not did they stop my YouTube account, but the government started making setups or causing things to occur, like wording on vehicles, t-shirt names, times certain specific suggestions or threats, and they were telling me, if you want fucking war on sexuality with this sunshine business, we'll tell you, we'll make it clear that you're fucking people that rape you as a child, that's all you're getting. We're fucking nasty people, we're high up, and we had the power to be nasty. So that's what they're basically saying, and obviously since that time they've been trying to hit me off. Just because of that, just because I'm getting evidence of the sun cursing me every day. Obviously, today, it's got a bit cloudier at the moment, there's more evening sort of weather, but it's still blue skies, there's blue in it, the sun's not out, it's just a bit below hazy, so it's not hazy, it's cloudy, but only just. But if you go back earlier in the day, there's an hour and a half of sunshine, and when I went to take a picture of the light I couldn't do it, because obviously I was being cursed with the sunshine or whatever. But but anyway, like I said, music, and obviously keeping my stuff safe on a format like a CD, a disc, or USB stick or hard drive is another thing they're taking away. So they've done away with my music, with all the DATs lost, because you're not allowed to have jungle music because it's too underground and the government don't like it because they've put music laws on there. But then again, you've got Scooter, a pop group called Scooter, which is basically a pop group that does club music. They were telling people in 2003 that if anyone listens to drum and bass or jungle, that they're going to be shot dead or hit off, because the government don't like people listening to that music, or telling people to burn all the old school stuff to say it's all Satan music. So they're trying to force people out of that sort of music. There's other tracks as well, not just by that pop group, and then they bring out another track to say we're going to make your life better by giving you a sex partner or a nice sexy girlfriend. But even in 2003 they were violating me with certain tracks, and even in 2003 Scooter was making tracks to tell me to fuck people that are not good names. But also in 2003 you also had other music coming out telling me to fuck people who raped me as a child and tell me to enjoy sex and make a good life together, doing it in a piss take way. And then obviously later on, when they stepped up all this action against me, they decided to release Lady Gaga Just Dance, and everyone put me down as a mental case. And at the time that they were doing that, they stepped up all this organised crime and setups of walking about and control force or loud bites or erections or whatever. And it's been like that since that time of that track when they stepped it up. So they released that track, and that's when they stepped the action up, and people couldn't see it initially. Obviously the people at the Palace nightclub or the people in Bridgewater knew about it. Obviously, and they knew that the creator gods turned against me, because you had seagulls telling me you're being ripped to pieces, that Jesus is going to knife you to the floor, or you're going to be fucking raped as a baby in your next life, or or whatever, or you're being knifed down, or you're having a break-in, because obviously when I had a break-in in the past where my stuff was stored, all these setups didn't calm down, or people didn't start calming down. It all flared up, it worsened, and the animal voice sounds was telling me to fuck people that raped me as a child, or taking the piss out of me in other ways, or saying you're being knifed down, and saying that's not good enough, or it doesn't calm down when you've had things that even when I went to the police station and I was arrested, as soon as I left the police station, all this setup was increasing, all the nastiness was increasing. There's no remorse with all this, I tell you. If they want you ripped to pieces, they'll have you fucking ripped to pieces. So obviously when it comes to nature and stuff like that, that's something that they can't destroy as so much. But like gardens, trees, whatever, woodlands. But what they are doing is they're telling people to go in the countryside more since the lockdown, and they made it packed with people, and you've got all the nutcase type people that are going in there, all the sort of bearded type people that are mistaking me as Savan. I don't know who this Savan is, but obviously they don't want me hit off, so they're using the media to get people on telly to look like me, to hit me off. They were doing it in 2003. David Icke, who's a conspiracy theorist, and there are other conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones or whatever, I can't remember which one said it, but they were talking about the Daily Mail, where they were arresting paedophiles and putting name and shame pictures on their pictures on the newspapers, and apparently, according to one of the conspiracy theorists, they're sort of resembling people that they're trying to hit off. So the government are trying to hit off certain people, so they're choosing people that are paedophiles or whatever, that resemble that person's face, so that person gets beaten to death or smashed out or whatever, so that the government can hit that person off. And that goes back to 2003, and then obviously they were talking about Tony Blair's lies about the war and stuff like that, and about not making war in 2002, and there's also other stuff like that, about Iraq and whatever it was, Iran or whatever it was at that time. And then obviously you've got other stuff. I go to the road again, and obviously they're setting up traffic, so it's got to be done. There's been no cars on that road since I left earlier to now. It's all being controlled when I reach that road. No matter where I go, they're controlling everything around me. They're doing it to be spiteful, to rip me off to pieces, to hit me off, to set my life apart. I mean, the last 2 years I've had to go clairvoyant readings, and clairvoyants have refused to give me readings. Some have refunded me, and some have said that there's not any good news for me to give you a reading yet, and saying, I won't charge you for it, but but better to do the reading at a better time. And if you go back to readings I have had in the past, they've told me that they've never known anyone in the whole history of the 30 years they've done readings to have such a negative energy around me, of people starting or whatever, not just one or two have said it, quite a few clairvoyants have told me they've never come across anyone to experience as many negative problems as I do, and they're saying it's all true as well. You know, they're picking up on that information, but they said, you know, but they have hope, but the problem is their hope fails. They predicted girlfriends, but can never come true. One of them predicted Chloe, who said she's turned 18, and the clairvoyant saying, with the life you had, you should be entitled to it. It's definitely deserved this Chloe or whatever. But the problem is, she told me you need to go to North Peven Carnival for it to occur when you go to visit your dad's, and she's going to stop you on the way and ask you out and start a conversation, say it's definitely going to happen, not going to fail. Well, one day before the carnival was on, which was 1 month after I had to read at Bridgewater Fair, they stopped the carnival because the day before there was a fuel explosion on the M5 motorway. So that never took place. There's been many different things. The very few people that have messaged me on dating sites, especially in the early days, sort of 2006, when they want to meet up, there's either road closures, shop closures, or the government put an event on where everything has to be closed down for a day or whatever, which has messed it up and caused issues. And they've even fucking taken my phone out as well. And also the internet page of a dating site, as I mentioned. There's been many different things. I mean, 2005, I went to Bridgewater Library to use dating sites. There's over 30 pages that were closed down on me that I signed up to in that 1 year. And there's a good well, it might have been 40 actually, and a good 20 or 30 the following year. And then obviously from that is post-order payments, and nothing. It just results in nothing. Even on professional sites, there's scammers. That's why I've never had anyone, and the very few people that have messaged me have told me that I'm a sick bastard, and they only go with people that are rough, or people that are saying that they're too hot, if they don't moan about the age. Obviously it's too late now, and obviously because the government or the God knows that I'm not going to get anyone in my whole life, what they're doing this year, and last year and this year is record breaking years, right? Where they time lookalikes people who sexually abused me as a child tying to an erection most days, or at least once a week, if there is a time period that lasts a week without this being timed, which is very rare. You go back to 22 and before, a lookalike to someone who sexually abused me as a child tying to an erection was very rare. If you go before the lockdown, it's hardly occurring ever, maybe a couple of times a year. Obviously when you come to sort of 2019, it might have happened a bit more frequent then, or 2018, but you go back before that time, that wasn't. I mean, going back to 2017 or before, which was when the Cevennes threat came in roughly, they weren't timing anybody that looks like someone who raped me as a child at all. Obviously I might have taken a piss of time to a specific relative or something like that, which annoyed me a few times, but you know, but when they did what I just said, that began around about 2017. It would have been about late 2017, if I remember. The most common setup that seems to be occurring, or the most recent, should I say, is from 2022 onwards. But even in 2022, it's not as bad as what it was now. So, what they're saying, applying now with setups or word non-vehicles or t-shirt names or whatever, is that in your next life, we're going to play about with you as a child and rape you as a baby, and play about with you in a fireplace with poker sticks before drinking your blood and violently burning you to death. That seems to be one of the most frequent setups, especially for this year, 2024. It was occurring in 2023, but it wasn't as intense as what it is this year, and 2022 is where it first began. You've had similar suggestions, but the wildness of the suggestion, or the vengeance, or the nastiness of the suggestions wasn't as bad, nowhere near. But it was the start of it. Before that time you had it never occurred before, I don't think. That's the first time it ever occurred. There might have been a few suggestions where you're going to be ripped to pieces suggested in your next life, but they didn't suggest what I just mentioned now. Right, so let me see if I can word it a bit better, to simplify it. Where they were making the suggestion that they're going to rip me to pieces in all my future lives after this life, or going to rip me to pieces in every life I live after I'm dead in this life, that's quite an old setup. So that setup was around about probably is in one of the earlier days is when the setup started to get noticeable. So maybe about 2005, 2006, in the earliest of days when all these setups were occurring when I was living in Bridgewater and West Street. I mean, they're doing that quite often. But where the violence occurs is to play about with me on a fireplace with poker sticks and to drink my blood and then to burn me to death or to rape the guts in and out of me as a baby in my next life. Where they've never gone to that extreme. They've never suggested, and even before the lockdown, all the setups before the lockdown, this wasn't being suggested. Obviously, like I said, they were making the suggestion they were going to rip me to pieces in my next life, but it didn't go to the extent of saying that they're going to play about with you in a fireplace with poker sticks. This all started in 2022, and the very first place this started in 2022 was when I was visiting Weymouth and Portland, when I was doing the camping trips at Portland. That's where it very first began, and then it became more widespread and was occurring around Yeovil when I went on the bus in other places around Yeovil. But all in all, these setups have been much nastier. They've been 4 times heavier and outright nastier, much nastier than what they were before the lockdown. I mentioned this on previous videos. Just before the lockdown, there was a year or so where these setups dropped completely, and you could go out for a month and experience only 1 threat in a month, and that's using the bus service as well. Obviously there would still be setups, but the setups weren't nowhere near what they are now. I mean, I remember saying before the lockdown that there's almost I can't remember if it's like 500 cars on the road, where every single car on the road has come out in a specific pattern to make a bad suggestion. You know, that would have been a shock, because I thought to myself, maybe a few years before that, you could manage to reach a whole 100 cars where every car's in a specific order, like black and blue, sick white, or knife shaped and gun shaped, where it's coming out like that, or sexual, but in like that pattern. Even if it's 100 cars going back, say, 2011, you think to yourself, that's record breaking. Nowadays they can get it in the thousands, ever since the lockdown. I didn't get every car on the road like it, quite literally for the whole day, through the whole day. So I don't know what they've done in that lockdown, and how they've rearranged everyone's movement and controlled everything about around me to be so spiteful and nasty or whatever. But I can tell you it's a lot different to what it was before the lockdown. In actual fact, if we go back before the lockdown, say 2 years before the lockdown, they're even telling me that they know that the Sadie business, or the accusation to Sadie, is false. They're telling me with the setups that it's false. They told me the Stephanie issue was false as well, eventually, to some extent, or they're applying it. They didn't really make much of a suggestion on the Stephanie. It's mostly to tell me that they know that the Sadie allegations are false. So I thought, yeah, that's right. The setups dropped, obviously they're still occurring, and if we go into the last 6 months before the first lockdown, I was actually walking into sexual people, and they were actually smiling at me. People 20 years younger than me, near enough, were actually like smiling at me like, it's not a problem, you know. But I don't know what's gone on in the last few years, where people are moaning about the age gaps all over the place. And I've also seen people in sexual relationships, people about their mid-40s, possibly 50, with a lady in her early 20s, and it's seen as normal. But I think a lot of the people that I saw at that time were foreign, they weren't British. So they're sort of whitish sort of skin, but not British looking. But to me, if I'd go on a date site or anywhere, I just looked at it as a piece of shit. But things did calm down. It sort of, apart from one specific day in November, and it's when I walked to Highbridge, where I had about 100 people start on me. Take that one specific day out, where it was really bad, everything calmed down in the lockdown period. There's a time I got arrested for writing Bomb Hinkley Point. I won't say what happened, because a lot of things happened to me bad in that time period, and I lost my temper over it. So I got like some Christmas spray and I wrote Bomb Hinkley Point on the path. The police found out I did it, they arrested me. They told me, whatever you do, whatever you write, make sure it's not that. Make sure that, saying, we're more concerned about your life rather than arresting you. We said, when it comes to stuff like that, out of all the possible crimes you could have committed when it comes to graffiti, that's the worst thing you could have ever written. And they arrested me for it. They gave me a warning, but they're sort of more concerned about that. Well, these setups or control force around me was sort of suggesting that you paid the price for that. So it's like there's some sort of remorse with the setups. Obviously it was not good, because obviously these setups have never been good. But there's some form of like suggestion to apply that you paid the price for it and that you're free now. You're being freed. So also, just before the lockdown, I was doing different things. I wasn't getting many problems. There's a few threats from enemies. Obviously, we're in the days of when the Savem threats occurred, yes. But all the setups and all the actions dropped, and I started walking into sexual people. It was around the time the Savem threat came in, so when this action started to become a little bit less. But there were still days where you could go into town, and in the middle of the day it's busy. The setups could be very heavy. But there's definitely a reduction in that specific year, just before we went into the lockdown. And then obviously after that lockdown, lockdown 1, you felt that the setups were still there. Well, actually initially no. It's like the setups have broken up completely for a very short period of time though, only for a few weeks. So you managed to do things in that few weeks. It's like the setups it's like they broke to pieces, like there's no setup at all. It's like everything's random, like it used to be before 1997. And then obviously it started to build up after that, and it started to become nasty even through the lockdown. Then it went into another lockdown, and as we were coming out of lockdown, the structural force became a lot more nasty and a lot more heavier, and about 4 times more heavier and about 5 times more nasty than it's ever been before, as we were leaving the lockdown. And then it was all control force that was heavy as hell around me 24/7 all the time, and it's been like that every single day since. Although out of the old setups before lockdown, although the loud bike issue, although the setups were calming down or whatever, when it came to the loud bike issue, that was remaining. It wasn't really until November or December of when the initial lockdown took place that the loud bikes came to a finish as well. But it didn't come to a finish for that long, because obviously we went into the lockdown, and like I said, that 3-week period where all the setups collapsed, the bikes were still randomly here and there. There was a reduction on the erections, the loud bikes to erections, but it was still occurring and build up almost straight away. So it never really left, not when it came to that specific setup. I will say something that is interesting. Although this person doesn't like me and she's got a problem with my age, believe it or not, she's actually the same age gap, almost, as when my parents were together. But obviously we're in a modern time, and she thinks it's sick or strange that there's an age gap, even though she's in her 30s now. Obviously I'm 43, so basically what happened is, when we came out of the setups that were reducing before we went into lockdown, I was walking into Gemma Ferguson on the beach on a regular basis. And obviously there are sexier women than her. I knew her by face, not by name or anything like that, but just to recognise her by appearance, from seeing her as far back as when I was living at West Street in Bridgewater. But I didn't really sort of take to her all that much, really. It wasn't until later on. When I moved to Burnham-on-Sea, it was around the time I moved around Burnham-on-Sea, I can't remember, it might have been, or a visit to Burnham-on-Sea, it would have been in that time period. There were 2 people, one was a bit younger than me and one was a bit older, and they were saying that they are absolutely shocked that I can fancy Gemma, because she's saying that she's saying, they were saying basically she's basic attraction. She says, I'm actually shocked that in this, and they were talking to each other saying, considering they're saying he's a paedophile and all the rest of it, if he can fancy Gemma, that surprises me. But that goes back in early days, so she would have been in her 20s then, early 20s, and obviously I would have been in my early 30s. As times went on, I saw her in the shop in the early days. She cried when I went in, and I thought I was about to ask her if she's alright, because I didn't know why she was crying, but I thought, I don't know her, I don't want to get involved because I don't know what the situation is, and I left it at that and just walked out the shop. And then sort of saw her here and there, and she'd give a stern look when she saw me on a Wednesday, or stern look when I went in the shop.
Then I was being mistaken as Savannah. The Savannah threat came in, so I stopped going in the shop, and it's like once every 6 months, if at all. Then I saw her on the beach on a regular basis. I went to hide a music CD pack in the sand dunes back in the days when I was doing that. I don't do this anymore because obviously the weather, the damp and everything damages discs, so, and causes where the discs just get, you know, soaking wet, and, you know, when they ice up in the winter or whatever, you know, they're buggered. So I've stopped doing that, and obviously when I used to hide it sort of temporary on a ground surface, roots or animals were digging it up, and it's not something practical that you can do. But anyway, she said, "Don't fall down there, will you?" As I'm digging for bait, and she knew I wasn't. So she laughed, so I joked with her, and that was the end of that. Isabel Simpson, who's a celebrity who went on Britain's Got Talent, actually made a suggestion of that on her Facebook. That picture's not there anymore, and I don't really look at her channel as sort of in the early days when I saw it. I just wanted sort of just to look, just to see what it's all about, because when I first saw this, it was on YouTube, not on telly. But that was really basically it in that sort of time period. I had a look, or a bit after that. Anyway, I saw Gemma again later on the beach. I said, alright, at times. Then you also had another person, I think her name's Gemma as well. This other Gemma is a single mother of 3. She's slightly younger. No, I'm not sure. Hang on, wait. Yeah, slightly younger. But her skin appearance is not as smooth as Gemma's. Although Gemma's not sort of smooth skin anymore as such, she's sort of heading towards negative attraction, so it's near enough too late for me to go, because I don't take to the negative type. It is near enough too late to go with Gemma, unfortunately. So anyway, I saw her on a regular basis speaking on the beach and whatever. Then I went into lockdown, and I was being mistaken as Liam and Savannah, and things were all getting twisted and muddled up, so she had her times. So both of them I was speaking to, and most times she wouldn't speak, started to get a bit more detachable in conversation, so I just walked past, or she walked away from me when she saw me or whatever. Then there was one more time where she said alright, and I left a letter in the charity shop where she works in the YMCA in Burnham. If she fancies, just to say, if you fancy a coffee or just a chat, and I just said, sort of, I can't remember how I put it. I put it in a much politer way than I would have think of how I could think it today, because obviously I just can't think straight how to word things anymore. But I did put I put I single, something like that. I put I just fancy to chat or whatever. Well, I left my number, and I said that the letter is private. I showed this to one of the staff workers in the early days when I moved to Yeovil, before I took it to the shop, and they said that's not gonna. I said, would this be okay? Won't offend or anything like that? And they said, no, that should be alright. Saying if you guarantee that you've spoken to her on the beach, and you're assured that you've actually, you know, had some form of communication where you've actually, you know, said alright to each other, and you know you believe that you've done that, and said that should be fine. So I did. When she got a letter, she phoned me up and said, because obviously I put it as private and just to Gemma on the letter, so it's enclosed in like an envelope, and she phoned me up saying, who the hell do you fucking think you are? When she phoned me up, no, she said, you Justin? I said, yeah. Who the fucking hell do you think you are, leaving a fucking letter in my workplace asking if I want to fucking meet her for a coffee? I don't even fucking know you. Who the fuck do you think you are? And say, you are asking her, I can't remember if she said 29 or 30 or 31, it's one of those ages. She said, you asking me if I'm a fucking, you're asking a 29 or 30 year old woman if she's fucking single, you sick as fuck bastard. And saying, how sad can you fucking get? You know, at the time I would have been 39 or 40 when 40, because it was in 2022, February 22 that I left it there. And he said, well, you don't know the mates I got around me. I said, if I fucking keep it out there, I might report you to the police. And I said, no, I'm not reporting you to the police. They said, I'll get you said, you just landed your whole fucking life in jeopardy. You're being fucking taken off. Saying, the amount of friends I got, you fucking had it. And then she said it once again, who do you think you are fucking doing? Adding
30-year-old woman asking if she is single and wants to go for a coffee. You're sick as fuck, mate. Just fuck off. You don't know where you're going to fucking end up. You lost your fucking life. And then obviously she said bye when she put the phone down. So as I was saying, like just now, she's about, I think she's the same age gap as my parents when they were together. So, but obviously it looks like we're in a different time, things are a lot like that, and obviously she, even just speaking to her here and there is not good enough to imply that she knows you. So I've left it at that, and she's had them banned from the shop as well, by the way, saying if you go past, you don't go in that shop anywhere and I'll report you. So I haven't, and there's been no problem since. But this person who went to attack me in April, who wanted to smash me up with a knife on the railway track in Highbridge, who met in Bridgewater, there's a possibility that could be linked, or it could be linked. The only one it's not linked to is Sadie. That definitely wouldn't be linked to the Sadie Dando. If it's linked, it's either Amanda Millis, Sally Ann Adicott, Gemma Ferguson, possibly Kimberly Cox. It's hard to say, but Kimberly Cox doesn't get on with the Dando side of the family anymore. Sadie mentioned a few things when I visited with my mum in 2015, 2016. I'm not going to go into details because obviously a lot of it's sort of personal information and I don't want to cause trouble amongst the family. But she has a different way of life now. And obviously when Kim saw me, she did actually make a remark, saying, oh, they're not fucking doing with those people again, are they? You know, she passed, so it seems that she's gone a different route in life. It also could be partly connected to this Michael Jackson prostitute who looks like Lisa Pike. In actual fact, she's slightly more negative than Lisa Pike, when Lisa Pike would have been roughly that age or around that age. She claimed to be what's her name again that they said? She said, what was it, Jeanette? No, she was pretending to be a single woman, and she scammed me of 800 quid, and basically she did about 5 or 6 moves on me, filming it, and that's it. And I'm not making that up. So anyway, the neighbours at my old place were saying that this was a setup by Dan. They said it could be a possibility. It's one of the neighbours wanting money to move out, or neighbour to move in, and they're saying that they're using him, saying that they're using me. This is a conversation I heard between someone in the corridor of my place, and they said he's a bit stupid, and obviously, they say I didn't say nothing. Obviously, I knew that what they were saying. They were saying I was a bit stupid. Well, in some ways, yeah, but they're saying that they know that she's not a pretty woman either, and they say they're doing it on purpose to get money out of him. And actually, to be fair, in that time period, there was no problems. All the neighbours calmed down. But then obviously you had the 2 other neighbours sort of move in, as like I said, and then obviously you had the eye problem that started to occur, and I had to camp out, and then obviously I had to move to Yeovil eventually later on. There's a couple of names that were mentioned: Dan, Scott and Oliver. The Scott was the name that was given when that person wanted to smash me out in Bridgewater. Just a week or so, 2 weeks before, there was a person that looked identical to him. It wasn't the same person, there was just a slight difference, and he was actually saying that I was surveilling, saying he's going to fucking smash me to pieces. And in general, that type of person doesn't like me in general, so when I walk into a person that looks like him, it's like the football type people that shut their heads off or are going to fucking smash you, but biggish sort of build, medium build where they're buffy, and they think they sort of hard and walk, or some of these people are actually hard, unfortunately, and they're not people you can deal with. So they could take out people, that are fucking in their 30s, 40s, 50s or whatever, even if they're quite hard build. They're not people you want to mess about with. So either way, that's all the end on that. There hasn't been much trouble in that sort of thing. However, the stuff that was being set up as setups back in 2005 to 2011 area is reoccurring. So like the suggestions of Sadie, Stephanie, Amy Weston, and even the Wayne. Wayne was between 2006 2007 died out in that year, or was it 2005 to 2007 then died out. That's being rebought up and it's being since the lockdown, all the past is being brought up. Even stuff that goes back over 30 years ago is being suggested, you know, and some stuff that I'm being accused for is not true. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, I mean, a lot of the stuff that they're suggesting is not true, but you know, that's what's happening. So it's dark now, so car time to hit me, but before that, drains hit over. A child rapist or molester, so like, I'm being knifed down, said by a youth, with the usual accent. Oh, I'll fucking do this, I'll do that, you fucking. And obviously, spit talk went near me. Right, I got told that I'm being knifed and having a burglary, but there's nothing you can do about it. It's the way the government need to control fucking corrupt people in my direction, or the Creator God, if the Creator God's fucking fallen. I come out of a church because I'm bored, so I'm sort of walking around there because I've got an hour or so wait for the bus or whatever it is. I'm not sure, I'll have a look in a minute. And dog barks, you're a child molester, just shot dead or something like that. My dog barks molested Stephanie just. Every time I push record on it comes to a sudden stop. So I can't do it. It's another one thing I want to mention. Stephanie. I'm being accused of all this and all that in the past. Yet when I walked into the charity shop in 2021, I think it is, it's like she sort of had no problem with me, you know, no problem at all. And I've seen her in there a couple of times. She has a boyfriend. I don't know what her boyfriend is. I've actually had a conversation. I actually said, "Do you remember me from Elm School?" And she sort of doesn't. No, but she tends to keep herself to herself when I do speak. But then again, I didn't really know her that well. She was more connected to Jason Dando. Jason Dando knew her really well, and so did my stepmother's son, David Franklin, also knew Stephanie. But they were using the bus service back in the time before I was using the bus. I didn't use bus service until 2006, and that was when I went on the bus with Ian Dando. It was the first time I ever used a bus. Who's my cousin, who would have been something like about 13 at the time, just for like a trip, because to Burnham and then come back. And obviously went back to his place or whatever. That's the first time I actually used the bus. Well, I've used the bus in the past, but it's always been with someone. And sort of after that sort of time, I started using the bus myself. And I started branching out to different places and going further afield over time, from 2006 onwards. Right, so I've been in this church about 40 minutes, and I didn't realise there was a lady in here praying in the little room down the bottom here. And I was sort of discussing about my life and sexuality and the fact that I've not been able to get sex in my whole life and all that sort of stuff, which is a documentary that lasted roughly 20 to 25 minutes, and this is the room where she was in, and obviously that's like a prayer room, and obviously she could hear what I was saying, but you know, I didn't realise she was in there. I didn't bother looking. I'll give you some more information about this lady in a minute, but I just want to go into a quick documentary as fast as I possibly can, because obviously I ain't got much time now to redo it, because obviously the bus is coming. But I was talking about not being able to get sex properly in this life, and the fact that I'm 43, and the fact that I can't take to negative attraction and being told to go with a very used person, or stale attraction, or someone I can't stand the look of, or someone that's a single mother, or someone that shags hundreds of blokes, or, you know, I'm being told to go with that type. I'm also being told I'm a sicko if I don't fancy the negative type, or being told that I've got to have the age pushed up on me as high as possible. I was also mentioning that I've been accused of trying to rape Sadie and Stephanie and Ian and Amy Weston, and you name it. I mentioned quite a few names regarding this. I also quickly went on about the Wayne issue as well, briefly, which was difficult to explain, so I didn't go into full details on that. I just explained that a lot of this is in the early Deep Depression life story packs, like possibly number 1, the very first one I did, where I managed to do the documentary a bit more easier, explaining the situation as it's not an easy documentary to explain. I was also mentioning the fact that a clairvoyant told me in my previous life, when I had a past life reading 15 years ago or so, that I was a little girl in my previous life, and she said I was sexually abused many times. She said I had quite a rough childhood in my previous life. She says I was a little girl in my last life, and she said that when I grew up to be a woman, she said I was quite a beautiful woman, and she was sort of joking about it on the thing. And basically she said I worked in a laboratory before I had my life taken tragically. She said I didn't have a partner, so I didn't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend in my previous life, and basically applying I didn't have sex. Well, the same's happened in this life, so I was talking about that, and then obviously I was talking about the suggestions, the setups or control force that is applying that I'm going to be sexually abused again in my next life and whatever else before I even get anyone. Then I was sort of talking about animal voice sounds and how corrupt they're coming out, and discussing all the usual stuff like that, and the fact that I've lost all my music near enough, and the fact I've had stuff go missing or break-ins of places where I've had my stuff stored, and the fact that everyone's starting on me, mistaking me as Seven, and the fact that I'm had 100 anything from 40 to about 140 threats in almost every day of 2022, and then we're talking about the amount of people sneezing in my face in that year was that high or higher on some days, and obviously people taking a photograph to get people to do me over or to kill me or whatever. I was discussing all this sort of stuff, and the fact that I got a violation from setups and whatever else, and the fact that you know, all this sort of stuff I was just going on about and talking about, and told that I was supposed to fancy people twice the age of people that sexually abused me as a child. Even though I mentioned it earlier on the recording, I redid it as like a separate recording, as I was going to separate it from this. Obviously there's not time to do that, and I'm going to keep this on the one video. But this lady in her early 20s obviously was praying in that room there that I just opened the door to when I walked down there, and I didn't realise she was there. So she's like a blonde lady, very sexy looking type, so obviously she's going to have a boyfriend or whatever. So she was praying, and then she came out. I had to stop this recording, and at the time I stopped the recording I accidentally deleted it. So I said alright in general as I passed this lady, and she was literally crying, really crying, not just crying, and she said, "How stupid are you?" And as she said that, she walked out the church continuing to cry with the tissue in her held against her nose and that. So yeah, that's what happened there. I'm a little bit annoyed that I deleted it, because obviously I did quite a good job when I did that recording, and I was going to keep it as best for my life story pack, but it's going to have to be done again, because I literally covered everything, and I literally went through a mind sweep where I was literally remembering everything, saying everything quickly, getting it in detail without messing up, and I thought this is a good video to keep. But because I didn't see that she was praying in there, when I stopped the recording, I accidentally deleted it. I didn't delete it on purpose, it was just I subconsciously deleted the recording, so I lost 20 to 25 minutes worth of fucking video. But anyway, I will do that recording again, but I won't be able to do it now, because obviously we're getting closer to the time of when the bus comes for me to go back home. And I will say something else, there's a lot of helicopters and a lot of planes above this evening. I don't know what the reason is for that, but you're looking at about 20 since I've been in this church. I just want to mention that the lady that was in this church that ended up going out after, you know, because she was crying, she's not the type I was expecting to be some form of Christian, or the type that would pray to Jesus Christ, but she was. So obviously she's got a boyfriend, and I'm suspicious that's the reason she's in the church, because she's split up or something like that. Obviously she's got a ring on her finger, and she appears to be pregnant when she was walking out. So she had blonde hair, roughly down to her shoulders near enough, or something like that. I didn't really take much notice. And obviously she had that smooth sort of skin, you know, the type everyone go for. So this is why I don't have anyone at the age of 43, because in the past all my enemies, or all people out there, have taken all the sexual types, and they're trying to give me the ugly pieces of dirt that I can't take to or don't like the look of. And most of these people, not just the sexual type, but most people in general, are not into any of the interests I'm into, or even anything like that. There might be people that have like nice sexual faces or whatever, but they're not into anything I'm into. It's the same with Lisa Pike. She's a good friend, but she's against everything I'm into, and her interests are the complete opposite to me. You know, obviously Lisa's not a very attractive type, and I don't take to her, and I can't fancy that type. But it's not just with the sexual type, but it's with the non-sexual type as well. To find someone that's into my interests and my way of life is going to be very difficult, because people are so different, where they're controlled by the media today, and they're brought up in stupid ways. Anyway, going back to this lady, this blonde lady, she didn't have a dry and sarcastic looking face. A lot of these people do that have like these blonde types. Obviously there's a bit of sinister appearance in her face, but it's not anything that is too drastic. It's there, but very faintly. It's more of a sexual look or a beauty look rather than a serious appearance, because a lot of the blonde types of people, they seem to develop this sort of serious, dry and sarcastic look in their face these days. I did find out something else after that lady left, and that is there's going to be a carol service in this church tonight, meaning that they don't need to shut the church early, which allows me to stay in there to wait for the bus without having to go out in the cold. However, I should probably spend the last 10 minutes in the cold to get ready and do all sorts of things like going to the loo or whatever before I go to the bus stop, and that bus is usually late, so I don't want to really go there until it's sort of time to, basically. And obviously earlier on, when I was looking at the timetable, I did find out that the bus came at a different time than I initially thought, which is a bit later than I anticipated, but it's not a problem. There's still 10 minutes left, so we must go back in the church because, well, for several reasons. We're going on the fucking wrong side. Being fucking knife. No, that's wrong. Sorry, hang on. There's a knife posed by a bloke, and a young lady passes me. They're in her teens. I remember coming into this church as night was coming in about 3 years ago. So it was in the early days of when I moved to Yeovil, first year or something. Well, I remember doing a walk, and I remember it being a lot more quieter than what it is now. Even the traffic flow on the road is 5 times more heavier at least, and the amount of people that have been in my direction is also at least 5 times busier than what it was on that specific year. Anyway, I managed to enjoy that walk, and I had a music track playing in my head as well, which is one of my favourite jungle tracks. Not my favourite, but it's in the favourite area. It's called Natural Mystic, Got to Have Ya, on Creative Wax Records, which was released in 1996 and put on a CD compilation called The Revolutionary Generation, which is a Moving Shadow record release, or partly Creative Wax Records. Anyway, they had a Christmas tree on the right hand side at the back end of this church, and I was looking at the windows, and obviously it had a nice green effect with the lighting and whatever, and it just felt different. You noticed that the atmosphere was different. I was doing a walk and it had that sort of mystical feel to it. It felt nice. But today I've done walks, I've been everywhere, same places near enough, and it feels just a lot more negative, a lot more unhappy, and more unsettled, and I've had a whole load of threats as well, so certainly different than back then. But even back then is when the setups were increasing. But since July, they've controlled everyone's movement around me too heavy to do anything anymore. They don't want me going anywhere. They want me fucking ripped to pieces and destroyed, but nothing you can do about it. So a cell cord needs to be tied into my ear. Would have used a yeah shot, that's it. Nothing you can do about it. The Creator God or the government need to do this.
the van is not going to stop. Photograph taken of me from that person who just made the threat, grey sexual car. I got a photo taken of me. There's nothing I can do about it. I've got to be hit off so that the government can play around with me in a fireplace with poker sticks and suck the guts in and out of me as a baby in my next life. Sign said HIV needle. Not looking at people extremely ugly. Reason for having a break-in. Someone says you're right, Liam, when that's not my name. I've got a coffin. Right, so you've had flowers carried up me and a bike issue. Being shot down dead. Paedophile said. Being shot dead, and then obviously it goes into normal conversation with someone photographing me, the same person photographing me. That's another thing that's increasing at the moment because the government want me hit off, or the creator God wants me destroyed in his buckled works. The lady says, took a picture of he, dead meat child abuser. Nothing I can do about it. I'm stuck here. The bus is late because the government trying to cause people to photograph me so they can hit me off. The bus is 20 minutes late at the moment. Being mistaken as that Liam name again on top of this event threat. And saying Liam, I've got to get him, he's being shot. Right, extremely weird, everyone's after him. Life's gone said, and photo taken of me by that person. They're gonna stab him with a knife. Fucking weirdo knife him off. Again, that person photographs me. Paedophile syringe said, no photograph. Knife dead knows his life's gone, child rapist. And photo taken on me. Bonus at bike time. Someone blows snot as I get off the bus into my bag. So obviously, and then after that, that's right, before that, there's someone that photographed me, a bearded type person, while I was on the bus, because obviously I'm sitting in view of that person who photographs me, and he laughs and smiles as he passes, and then there's an evil look just before that, and then another person photographs me pretty much 10 seconds before I mention the story, and now there's a DX to apply sex, delivered exactly, Express Parcel Solutions, D and XD Delivery.com, timed, Horizon van, Burkham van, Cornwall. That's right, Justin stole Sam's bike, said. Well, that's not true. Right, so child abuse rapist just being busted. Oh dear, Justin said. Being busted. There's a specific setup that occurred earlier when I was out. I'm a bit puzzled by this, because I didn't really mention it because there's sort of a positive suggestion in the suggestion. Well, in actual fact, the person that is trying to make a suggestion, who likes me, is actually the reverse. So if the military just supposing are setting this up, or the elite, or the government, or whatever, noetic science technology is not always accurate. A bit like with the Sadie stuff or whatever. Berkeley, Justin Bank being shot dead, Justin said. Child molester just said. Gunshot in the sound by neighbour as well.